In the southern summer of 22-23, I went to Antarctica on the MV Ocean Endeavour. The ship was chartered by Australian adventure tourism company Chimu, and the expedition was run by the venerable guiding company Intrepid. One of the drawcards of this particular trip was expedition host Adam Spencer, well-known Australian science broadcaster and author, and all-round top bloke. We were also lucky enough to be accompanied by a team of scientists and engineers attempting the first ever recording of the colossal squid in its home waters. Gobsmacking scenery, glaciers and icebergs, penguins, whales, seals. This trip was simply incredible. So come on, let's go to Antarctica. So the lunatics on board are about to do the polar plunge. There is the largest Gentoo penguin colony on the peninsula. Here is a group of happy, light-hearted, joyful people. They produce a kind of tsunami that you can't react to quick enough. I've never seen anything like it. Visiting Antarctica for fun and adventure involves crossing the Drake Passage from southernmost South America to the Antarctic Peninsula. And that means going through Ushuaia, the southernmost town in the world, on the island of Tierra del Fuego on the Beagle Channel. So we arrived there a few days before we set sail for Antarctica, which gave us a chance to knock around this wonderful little tourist town full of people in puffer jackets just off their ships, or like me, just about to board. On embarkation day, we took the minibus down into town for the last time and nervously knocked around the waterfront, waiting for it to be time to board. I see my ship. So, it's that one, blue one. Intrepid, that's me. We'd already dropped our bags at the hotel that morning, so there was nothing for it now but one last video call home, jump on the minibus, down the pier, cross the gangplank, check in, and find out where I'd be sleeping for the next 10 days. So we've just got on the boat. I want to count my chickens, but I'm meant to be sharing with someone. I see one complimentary puffer jacket, and there's only one set of luggage here too, which is mine. I think I have just scored a double cabin to myself. Well, that's a good start. First up was a general welcome and safety briefing in the soon-to-be very familiar Nautilus Lounge. So the next thing we're meant to do is a lifeboat drill. And then our first chance to check out the restaurant. First impressions, pretty good. We're at that phase where everybody is excitedly dashing around all over the ship. Oh, look at this deck. Oh, here's the spa. Oh, there's the mudroom. Oh, where are you? I'm over here. I'm in corridor 4. Whereabouts are you? I'm on corridor 6. With everyone settled into their cabins, the next stop, of course, was the bar. For the socially awkward among us, this is a difficult time. We're going to know these people so well in a few days, but right now, they're strangers. That's the pool. Hey, there's my old mate Adam. Man, we've known each other for... Oh, no. Security. Drinks were drunk, names exchanged and immediately forgotten, and before we knew it, the engines rumbled to life and we were away. Well, we're underway. The thing that has actually struck me the most is here's a group of about 120 odd people are so happy. Here is a group of happy, light-hearted, joyful people. You just never see that. And why wouldn't we be? We were on our way to Antarctica. First morning of day one of the 2 it will take to cross the fearsome Drake Passage, which isn't too fearsome so far. It'll be full of science talks, briefings, and lots of time spent on deck, hoping to be the first person to spot a whale. I said there was a really packed schedule of events, so there's these screens all over the ship, including in our cabins, that list all of the activities through the day. But as you can see, there's heaps and heaps of things. some of the briefings that are to prepare us for some of the extracurricular activities. Right now they're doing an intro for the people who are doing sea kayaking rather than me. One of the great things about this trip was what a strong program of citizen science it had, led by these fantastic expedition crew members who had experience in wildlife spotting, qualifications in earth sciences or biology, and pass all that knowledge and expertise onto us in these shipboard lectures and when we were out exploring. By lunchtime, the first check started to appear on the wildlife checklist. All right, I haven't been outside for a few hours. It got a bit wet there this afternoon, and the ship is rolling a bit, but let's see what it's like. Oh, it's cold. Hang on, let's get it. They told us yesterday that the smokers will be the ones that will see the most wildlife, because they'll always be out here on deck having a fag. Wow, so got some of these fantastic, I want to call them albatross, that are following the boat here. Just make sure I don't go overboard. But yeah, quite amazing. This morning there was a whole session on seabird watching, everybody out on the back deck, and one of the ornithologists pointing out 2 or 3 different types of albatross, thing called a black-browed albatross, and there was one royal albatross that got everybody excited there for a few minutes. But it's quite extraordinary watching these birds. They never flap their wings. They're total gliders, and in fact some of them can lock their wings out into this rigid formation that just allows them to glide, and they actually can't flap their wings when they're in that mode. So these birds spend essentially all their lives at sea and indeed in the air, and there's been records of some of these birds being on the wing for 40 or 50 days straight. The other thing that's really striking about them is their incredible wingspan. Now, it's a bit hard to judge when you're on the back of the ship. You'll see a bird out there and think, oh yeah, it's, you know, size of a seagull, and every now and then you get a real sense of, hang on a minute, that bird is 100 meters away. Its wings must be enormous. Incredibly lucky that the seas are like this. There were people talking about the seas being 20-meter waves on the crossing back to Ushuaia a few days ago, and so this is like a mill pond by comparison. And although we're still north of the Antarctic convergence, it's getting cold. Yeah, everybody was out on the back deck watching the seabirds quite early this morning. Would have been before breakfast, and nobody particularly rugged up. But now it's about 8 hours later, kind of about 6 p.m, and I've come out here for the first time all afternoon, and for the first time I've got gloves on and this shell to keep the wind out, because the temperature is noticeably colder than what it was this morning. Before tucking in for the night, I do a piece to camera that's most interesting for the way I'm lurching about everywhere. Just come back from our first daily briefing, where they run through the recap of the day and then talk a little bit about what's happening the next day, give you some reasonably important information. And after a hilarious few minutes when I thought I'd be sleeping in my rubber boots, that was the end of a packed day 1 at sea. So it's day 2 at sea, about lunchtime. To sleep in this morning, got woken by the ship's announcement that the compulsory biosecurity briefing was going to begin in 5 minutes, so that was a bit of a shock. The other awesome thing that happened this morning is we saw our first whales. And when I say we, I mean someone else. I did see a couple of little spouts off in the distance, but apparently there were humpback whales only about 50 metres off the bow. And a few lucky people were out on deck and got to see them. And by the time they announced it and everybody trooped out, all we could see was a few spouts in the distance. But literally the second morning at sea, we've seen our first evidence of whales. Now this is a little sneaky tip that I was just given. If you keep a watch out for them from the bow, then you're much more likely to get an early sign that they're there and get a good view of them as they get closer. So I'm going to go and spend a little bit of time there now. is one of the lifeboats. On our first day, the first thing we did was actually before we left port, we did a lifeboat, a drill, an emergency drill. We ended up out here all lined up and learning how we would get onto these if we had to. I hope that piece of knowledge will be completely theoretical. See, the sun is out. The weather is absolutely amazing. Look at this, blue sky, relatively calm seas. We're very, very fortunate to be getting such a Drake Lake experience. There's nobody here. It's my little secret spot until everyone else discovers it. Only problem is it's in the shade, so it's actually kind of freezing. You see, I'm a lot more rugged up than I have been over the last few days. Okay, no whales yet. Well, of course, inevitably I'm out here watching for whales, and they've just seen whales off the port side. I mean, some spouts off in the distance, but I think it's they're Schrodinger's whales. You know, if you're looking for them, you don't see them. So I've managed to find my way up to the upper bow deck, which has all the advantages of the lower deck, but is in the sunshine, so I'm not freezing to death. Although that wouldn't last for long. So I've just headed out for this afternoon's bird survey, and it started to snow. Just a little bit. It's beautiful little fluffy snowy flakes. But just as the weather was about to tempt me inside, whale ho! We just had a pod of at least 6 or 7 whales spouting and breaching only a few hundred meters away. Everybody is pretty excited. I think that's the sea kayak crew. So they've been getting into their special gear just to get used to it, get a feel for it, get a little bit of safety training. Snow's really coming down now.
If you're a pilot, would you say this is alto stratus?
Looked like a whole pod, didn't it? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I managed to catch a bit of video of one of them breaching. So we've just had a briefing as to where we're going to be landing for the first time tomorrow. So everybody's pretty fired up. Truly novel experiences are pretty hard to come by these days, but going to bed that night, I knew that I was in for one the next morning. Well, today is Antarctica Day. Today, we're going to see ice. Now, about 5:30 a.m. and when I go out that door and up onto that deck, there's going to be icebergs and it'll be mountains and let's go! Maybe it'll be snowing and I won't be able to see anything. Just out here, will be my first sight of the ice. Oh my. sensational. That. Oh, that's so beautiful. Oh, I'm so busy looking at the mountains, I haven't noticed the icebergs. Oh, that's incredible. So I think we're gotta look over here. I think we're sailing through a channel, I can't remember its name, between effectively the mainland, the peninsula, and an island. This would take us in to our first stop, which is called Nico Harbour, which I suspect is another hour or so, maybe another hour. Look at this. There's not too many of us up yet. Oh. Good morning. It's hard to take in. It's overwhelming. So we've been trying to find words, because there's no words. The best we could come up with is sublime. I think it's what the word awesome used to be for until it was for everything else. But sublime's pretty good. I mean, the last few days have been fantastic. Just the experience of being at sea, the wildlife, seeing the whales yesterday. This is times 10, times a million. Everywhere you look in every direction is mind-blowing. I just want to live out here on the deck. Oh, iceberg. Anyway, just an iceberg floating past. I don't know how we're supposed to go inside and eat breakfast. But even at breakfast, the show went on as our first penguins welcomed us to day one in Antarctica. Next time in Dave Goes to Antarctica, everybody is just having one of the best days of their lives. So we're all set up, ready for a good night's sleep. I can hardly see because my glasses are so fogged up. Well, that is two of the most mind-blowing hours of my life.